Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. The Hurricane Watching is here with your latest update on the Tropics. So we do currently now have Tropical Storm Blas that is now developed. As you can see right here, it does have a Tropical Storm Force wind field a little farther off to the east. We do have someone on the stream today. Would you like to introduce yourself? Okay then. Well, we're gonna get right into this and just sort of talk about everything that we have going on here. So as you can clearly see, we do have this Tropical Storm Blas has developed. I am going to show y'all the National Hurricane Center update once it updates, but this is from WSV3. You can see in the top up here, we do have maximum sustained winds about 47, 45, 47 miles an hour. It is not moving very quickly because of high pressure suppressing it and kind of making it go in the direction that it is not wanting to go, kind of going against it and off to the left. So it is, or off to the northwest, so it is moving a little bit slower. And as you can see, there is a lot of convection. Not too much energy near the center, or not too much energy away from the center, which is good, meaning that there's probably not going to be as much rain as they were predicting and expecting. We're still waiting for that update from the National Hurricane Center to come out to see what they say about this system. Because again, as y'all can see, there is quite a lot of convection near the center. Earlier we were able to see higher resolution, but it's changed, so now we unfortunately can't. So this is what we got down here. You can in fact see, I do want to pull up, so this is going to start moving off to the northwest pretty soon. And then it should rather speed things up. So again, you can see active system blasts with that wind of about 45 miles an hour, 1,002 millibars, and it's moving north at 360 degrees, which is exactly north. So I think this is going to start moving to the northwest. There could still be some thunderstorms and some shower activity from this along the coast. It does seem to go closer to the coast, but it seems like it's going to be moving away now, thankfully. Unfortunately, it is going to be intensifying, so it might get a little bit bigger, and so we're going to closely monitor that. We do have another area of disturbed weather down here that we're closely monitoring and watching. As you can see, this is the area of disturbed weather, Invest 93E. We're also closely monitoring. I also want to show y'all the this on. And turn all this here off. I do want to show y'all where the heaviest rain from this is going to be, because that's also very, very important. So I'm going to turn off radar, satellite momentarily, and show y'all where we think the storm is going to go. What the hell is this? I don't know why that's there. I know storms don't move at like 15 miles per second. Okay, it's being weird, but we're gonna go to model right now, and we are gonna go and take a look and see what we got with a precipitable water. Just tells you how the amount of moisture in the atmosphere over the next 5 days. If it would like to load, that would be nice. So as you can see, there is going to be a lot of moisture associated with this system, and really regardless of where this system really kind of goes, I mean, it's going to be kind of riding off the coast a little bit, but I do think there's going to be quite a bit of energy with this associated with this system. And you can see this little spin up right here, which is just riding the coast over here. This is Mexico, Honduras, Nicaragua, Belize. Lots of moisture and energy over here, and also a spin up of energy in the Caribbean. That's something we're going to be monitoring, because then that has the possibility of really, gives us the possibility of showing on both sides that we could also have our next named storm possibly in the North Atlantic. So as of 10 a.m., new tropical storm forms offshore of southwestern Mexico, expect to stay away from the coast. So I'm going to pull up the latest update from the National Hurricane Center right quick. Kind of show you what we're looking at here. There we go. I want to refresh this and just sort of talk about what we're looking at right now. So here's Tropical Storm Blas, as you can see, 40 knots, which is about 45 miles an hour. And now I know the air pressure can be a little bit confusing, but to simplify this in terms, the lower that number is, the more intense the storm is. So some of the most intense storms and most famous storms had a much lower number than 1,002 millibars. So for example, Hurricane Maria was like 907 millibars. Typhoon Haiyan, some I'm hearing was like 890 millibars. Hurricane Wilma, 882 millibars. Hurricane Patricia, 872 millibars. Typhoon Tip, 1979, 870 millibars. So really, you've seen these much powerful storms. The more powerful they are, usually that air pressure is going to be significantly lower by up to several, by, over 100, 150 millibars or 120 millibars or whatever. And so that air pressure is going to be significantly lower in a most intense storm. So I think that as we continue to watch this is going to continue moving away from the coast of Mexico. So the biggest threats with this system, I'm going to go into the discussion. Actually, I want to go in the graphics and sort of talk about just the general direction this is going to be going. So as you can see, Tropical Storm Blas is right here. It's going to be moving in this area of much warmer waters. And so therefore the temperatures are going to be warmer and allowing for more convection to occur. And it's going to continue to intensify. And I think throughout time, we could see this become a hurricane. I don't think it's be anything major. Again, the biggest threats to Mexico, I want to emphasize this, are going to be heavy rain, mudslides, and landslides. Tropical storm force winds, hurricane force winds, not going to happen. The biggest threats are going to be storm surge. You're going to have swells, and that's also even up here in the Baja California Peninsula. As this is moving southwest, it may be hundreds of miles away, but those swells, all right, those swells are going to push in that general direction, and you're going to see those swells, and they're going to cause some problems there. I'm going to pull WSB3 back up. I'm going to go back to the satellite. Basic satellite. I'm going to see if we can do visible. So, and this is where that system is at, and I'm going to try to do something to see if this actually works. Do some illustration here. So this is going to kind of cause swells to come out like this. And as this storm moves in this, I cannot draw for shit, moves in that general direction, I'm just guessing, I don't actually know, there's going to be swells. I think could be some pretty interesting swells along this entire coastline. The outer bands, you can kind of see the energy flow coming in here like this and like this. So over here, some bands I think could actually start becoming more developed as the storm gets bigger. So as a storm, you're going to get convection near the center of the storm, and as that happens, it's going to expand. The storm's going to expand. So as you get the convection to rise, you get that air parcel to rise, and it hits colder air temperatures, it's going to condense. The humidity and the dew point and the humidity are the exact same. It's going to condense, it's going to continue to rise, and you're going to get this storm to expand. You can actually see some of that happening right here, a little blob of convection. And that, I think, is where we might actually see some of the most closest to where the tropical storm force winds are. And as this happens, I think as this continues to move in this direction, something like this, we're also going to get these rain bands kind of flowing in like this. We might even get some onshore flow a little bit, some energy going away from it. And I think this storm is going to produce a lot more flooding. It's going to be the biggest threat with anything. Now, how do you get the illustration to stop? So, in this area, we have this system. And just take a look at all this convection sitting off the coast. I think as this system here develops, it's going to start, there's going to be more convection consolidated near the center of the system. And I think there's a possibility that as that happens, it's going to try to spin up. And regardless, there's going to be flooding really in this general area of Central America. Mexico, this is Bailey's up here. I want to say El Salvador. I don't know why I feel like El Salvador is like right here or something. I'm just making a random guess. So this is going to cause a lot of flooding right in this area. And that's something I want to point out. The fact that this right here could cause a lot of flooding. So really, if you go anywhere along this part of Mexico, you're probably going to see a decent amount of flooding. This coast of Central America, excuse me. And then on this side over here, we're getting a lot of convection building up. And there it is. It is, in fact, an invest, as you can see there, as issued here. I'm going to actually go to Tropical Tidbits and see what we're looking at here. So there it is. We do have an area of investigation. And again, lots of convection in these storms right here. Lots of convection right here. Very, very spread out. You can see a majority of the energy is located up here. We need it to be symmetrical around this system. But most of the convection is to the north, and I think this is going to just sort of move something like this. And with this system, there's going to be a lot of high pressure. Given the fact that we're going to have a lot of high pressure, we're also going to be dealing with, I think this system over here is going to move farther north, and if anything, it might not even make it into the Bay of Campeche because of high pressure sitting up here and suppressing it to the south. Usually the stronger the storm is, it can go against this high pressure. With Irma, it came in something, no, that's not Irma. Irma did something like this. Random guess. I don't actually know. I'm just making a guess. Something like that. And it is something like that. And I think if this storm does become more intense, the one in the Caribbean Sea, it does become more intense, it's actually able to gain more latitude. It goes more than north. It might try to re-intensify somewhere in the southern Bay of Campeche down here. And if that happens, we could see this re-intensify from a depression. Because again, I do think the northern part of the Yucatan Peninsula is flat. The southern part's down here. Why? Please don't freeze up on me. That's a problem. Okay. WSV3 is just not wanting to cooperate with me right now because I think my computer is simply not fast enough. Alright, let's get back into this and talk about it. So So I do want to talk a little bit about a few more things. I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do a little this. So what I was saying earlier is, if you were to have this system, because it's already come pretty far west, intensify and move more like this, it might do something more like this. Draw a damn arrow. And it might try to redevelop in the southern Bay Campeche. And again, just so y'all know, it's going to bring flooding. The flooding is just, it could be pretty bad. Alright, let's take a look at some models, shall we? Let's turn off this satellite imagery. And I'm going to take a look at the wind speed, just so we have an idea. Wind speed wise, I'm not worried about blasts at all. I am a little more worried about this system since it's going to be being so much closer to the coast. I'm a little bit more worried about wind speed with this one, and even then, not the most. So I'm going to first go and take a look at 10 meter winds. And again, we're only going to go out 120 hours. Anything past 120 hours, in my opinion, is simply just not, it's just simply not reliable. Let's get right into this and just let me just talk about this. So, with the one in the Invest 93E, I think the Storm has the possibility of becoming something a little bit more significant. Stronger winds. More of a significant wind event than Blas. This one is riding the coast much closer, and the forecast is for it to continue to stay relatively close to the coast. So, as you can see, it does intensify substantially. But it does seem to stay farther away from the coast, which is good. Tropical storm force winds, heavy rain, and flooding are the biggest threats. Do you really want to take a look at the flood event? Or not the flood event, but the possibility of rain. The total precipitation. So you can certainly see where the three systems are at just from the precipitation. You can clearly see the one in the Caribbean moving northward. You can see the one off the coast of Mexico continuing to move off to the west and to the northwest. And I think flooding is going to be a big threat. You get this rain, these heavy rains. Those mountains are about 3 to 5,000 feet up. It cuts in the lower level of the storm, of these outer bands. It squeezes the moisture out of them, and it can really exacerbate the effects it can have on flooding. A very good example of this, certainly Hurricane Patricia, when it moves across those high mountain plains, higher mountains of Mexico, causing lots and lots of flooding to occur. When you get other storms moving out in the Pacific and they move into southwest United States, it's going across those mountains, and the mountains are just squeezing that energy out and ripping the bottom of the storms out, and it causes a huge amount of flooding there in the West Pacific, and the Northeast Pacific, right there in the Southwest United States. If anyone has any comments, questions, or concerns, feel free to ask anything in the chat. So with the flooding that we're given, what is going to happen with these storms? Well, let's take a look and see what we got here. I'm going to get out of this and go to tropical tickets. So again, this is Tropical Storm Blas, 1200 UTC, 40 knots, about 45 miles an hour. Here's the satellite imagery of it. So I do sort of want to just point out the fact that there's notice that deep thunderstorm activity continuously happening, firing up and firing up and firing up. We're seeing, if you look here and you look to the right, you can actually kind of correlate the temperature cloud tops with the clouds and the colors with temperature. So we're seeing negative 80, negative 90 degrees centigrade cloud tops. So that's, 50, 60,000 feet up. And it's incredible to see the fact that we're seeing this amount of convection. And so this shows an intensifying system. More intensification is going to happen. 45 miles an hour, eventually 50. Who knows, even higher, 60. Eventually it's expected to even become a Category 1 hurricane with 75 to 80 mile per hour winds. So this is going to be a very interesting system. Flooding. To take away from these systems, the biggest threat from these systems right now, since we don't know, the system in Invest 93E in the East Pacific and Invest, is it 92E? Or no, 93L? 92 or 93L, I don't know. Is that regardless of development, the biggest threat is going to be flooding. Right now, it's not formed. It doesn't have a forecast track on it. So really talking about wind speed and storm surge right now really isn't going to do a lot. Yes, they are expected to develop, but just to ensure we're all on the same track, the biggest threats from these systems right now is going to be flooding, without a doubt. Without a doubt. Biggest threat is going to be flooding, 100%. So I do want to go to forecast models and take a look at the models. Again, 120 hours. Yes, is all I really want to do. So again, really take a look at this. You can certainly see El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras, Nicaragua, that area. So again, it does show in a more intense system. Actually, hold up. Now that I'm on here, I'm curious if there it is. Invest 93L, 20 knots, about 25 miles an hour. Does the page exist? There's like 3 frames. Okay, clearly more than that. So again, with this system, this is in the Southwest Caribbean. They are near Nicaragua, Honduras, Guatemala, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, and Panama in northern South America. This is the general region we're talking about. So there is a lot of convection. Right now, thunderstorm activity is very, very broad. There's a very, very broad area of low pressure. Biggest threat is flooding. By far, biggest threat right now is flooding. We don't know where it's going to go. There isn't a very defined exact center. There may be little vortices here and there. It needs to be more confined to a central point. Right now, quite obvious, that is not the case right now. So, we're going to continue on with this and continue to talk about the models and just sort of talk about what more is expected, what the most likely outcome of these systems is going to be. Now, with Tropical Storm Blas, it's going to go out to sea, flooding, regardless, Category 1, 75, 80, maybe topping out at 90 miles an hour, depending on how long it stays over that warm water and those conducive environments. What I'm most worried about right now is that the storm in the western Atlantic does become a tropical storm and becomes a decently, I'd say, a 50, 60 mile an hour tropical storm, and it does bring some storm surge. So I want y'all to, prepare. If you live in this area, just prepare for this as if it was going to be a tropical storm. Because I've been looking at the GFS, it's been pretty consistent with this. And now the National Hurricane Center is starting to latch onto it a little bit more. So I do think this does have the possibility of becoming a tropical system. The sea surface temperatures are very, very warm. Right now, I do actually want to talk about just how incredibly warm the sea surface temperatures are. It's so incredible, it's almost scary, if I'm being honest. So I'm going to come down here, go to the Gulf of Mexico, and just show y'all So I wish the western. I wish I could look at the Western Atlantic. I'm going to look at the Gulf of Mexico. So right now, this is what we're looking at. So you can see if you look at the bottom. I want to animate the product a little bit. Because I do want to talk about this. And so you can clearly see, you can see the water coming in through the Gulf Stream, going out, expanding. Really, the north central Gulf seems to be the hot spot where we're seeing 87, 85 to 88 degree temperatures right now. So I just really want to emphasize that the Gulf of Mexico is rapidly warming up right now. And when we get later on the hurricane center, and later on the hurricane season, this is going to be much more important when we really see what's happening. I'm going to probably wrap this up right here pretty quickly. So this is what we got. Alright? Over the next 120 hours. Now this is going to be from Tropical Storm Blas. Alright? These are tropical storm force wind probabilities. Just so y'all understand, really the possibility isn't super great, but the chance is still there. Islas Marias has a 3% chance of tropical storm force winds. Barra Nevada, Navidad, a 3% chance. Manzanillo, Mexico, 13% chance. El Cardenas, 13%. Cannot pronounce the next city, but it's Zihueños, 12% chance. Acapulco, 8% chance. Isla Socorro, 27% chance. 6% of 50 knot winds, which is 60 miles an hour or stronger, or 58 miles per hour or stronger, and 2% chance of hurricane force winds, which is at 74 miles an hour or stronger. And Isla Clarion has a 13% chance of tropical storm force winds. So I think tropical storm force winds are a best possibility. Tropical storm force winds, really, we don't need to be super duper worried about that, because this is going to be a rain event. I don't want to make it seem like this is going to be a wind event or a big storm surge event. With what we have in mind, with what we got right now, we will continue to update y'all closely on the development of these tropical systems. And if anything continues to pop up, we will continue to talk about it. This has been your tropical weather update on Tropical Storm Blas, Invest 93E, Invest 93L. That is what we have right now, ladies and gentlemen. Please stay safe out there. Anybody else have any other comments, questions, or concerns, you can always email us at hurricanewatchteam@gmail.com. You can DM us on Discord. You can DM me on Discord. You can join our Discord server. It's totally free. You can actually see some spin and rotation there. I just not realize that there's actually a good amount, a little bit, looks like some rotating thunderstorms. Some rotating, the thunderstorms are starting to rotate around a central core. You can really see those stronger upper level winds to the north of it, it looks like. A little bit. Well, that's really going to be it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Feel free to like this video, this stream, subscribe if you want more content from us, and if you want to see more weather and tropical related videos, subscribe to this channel. With all that being said, have a wonderful rest of your morning, and peace out.